this year, it is important. It is imperative. It is necessary that you be intentional, be way more intentional about where, how, on whom, or with whom, and on what, wherever you utilize your time.
To some, boundaries are just placing limits. To me, it's where the limitless things begin.
Hello, 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 and thank you for tuning into the Boundaries and More podcast with Jess Abraham. I am your host, Jess Abraham, your favorite boundaries coach, and today's episode is brought to you by Joyful Styles. Joyful Styles is a lifestyle brand that provides premium quality apparel that promotes joy and positivity. Joyful Styles believes how we approach a situation matters. And choosing to be joyful makes all the difference. You have the power, and it's time to embrace it. So, get your Joyful Styles apparel at joyfulstyles.com. That's JoyfulStylez.com. Let's go, y'all. Look, I'm excited. I'm excited to get into this episode today. I briefly touched on a time, but you see the title, right? Time boundaries. And I briefly touched on it in the way earlier episode, but I wanted to touch on it in the new year with the new perspective. So look, y'all, I'm gonna get right into it today, right into it. So look, y'all, again, you see it, time boundaries, right? This year, right? This year, it is imperative, it's important, it is time for you to be more intentional about where, how, on whom, on what you utilize your time. Right? I'm going to say that one again, y'all. This year, it is important. It is imperative. It is necessary that you be intentional, be way more intentional about where, how, on whom, or with whom, and on what, wherever you utilize your time. Right, y'all? Look, y'all, I want to, before I get into the super duper meat of the episode, right, I want to start here, right? Some of you are like, I don't know, maybe I am being intentional about my time, maybe I'm not. The first things first, it is important for you to take inventory on how you're currently utilizing your time, right? So just every day, just like, don't even worry about implementing certain things yet, because what you must know where you are before you can actually go to where you're trying to be. Like it is, you must start, right? Start where you are, but you must know where you are to actually go in the right direction, right? So take inventory. And so this week, right, I want you to start writing out what you're doing with your time, right? So just say you listening to this in the morning, shout out to you, right? It's 8, 9 o'clock. From 9 to 11, I did this. From 11 to 3, I did this, whatever that looks like. It's 7 o'clock at night right now for you, whatever. Okay, start right now. 7 o'clock at night, I did this, but I want you to start today. Whatever time it is right now that you're hearing this, when you finish listening to this episode, I want you to write that out. Make sure you write in this episode, right? At whatever time you're listening to this. I listened to the Boundaries and More podcast. Then I did XYZ and so on and so forth, y'all. It's important, right? We must take inventory so that we know where we are, so we can have a better idea of how to get to where we would like to go, right? It's super, super important. Like, don't start this stuff without taking inventory first. Okay, I know it's a necessary step, and I know a lot of you might be inclined to just skip that joint. Not today. Like, this is just really going to help you, because a lot of us, we think we're doing one thing when we're really doing another, right? We think we're whatever it is, right? But just to be more intentional about where you're utilizing your time, how you're utilizing your time, with and on whom you're utilizing your time, on what are the things, right? Yeah, so y'all, I want you to also, right, after you take inventory on where you're utilizing your time, I want you to place limits on how much time you use on certain activities, right? Specifically, if certain activities are definitely hindering your progress, right? So I'm in the process of doing certain things and accomplishing certain things by a certain time frame, right? Like that's my goal. We talked about time to commit, right? Last week. Check out last week's episode if you haven't yet. But look, so I'm sometimes I limit my time on what I'm doing. If I'm in my game, if I'm watching the show, whatever. I do that sometimes. But typically, how I operate, especially in this season, I'm a lot more task focused. So I'm not like I've done it before, and I'll get into that a bit more. But in this season, I'm currently, you know what? I'm actually going to tell you what I used to do or what I've done before, and then talk about what I'm actually doing now. Um, yeah, it'll help. I think it'll help in that way. So there was a season where I had every activity, y'all, every activity on my calendar, right? So from waking up to going to sleep. Like, okay, I'm waking up, I'm saying my prayers, I'm doing my affirmations, I'm getting on this call, I'm doing this, I'm doing it. Like literally from the time I woke up to the time I went to sleep, it all was in the calendar. Like, y'all, I can go back to whatever dates it was the show, bedtime, sleep. Like that was on the calendar, y'all. It was a season for that. In this season, however, I'm not necessarily focused on the time in which I'm doing XYZ. I'm more focused on the task in this season. So in this season, certain tasks and certain things fluctuates. I don't necessarily have a set time in which, like for my workout, for instance, sometimes I work out in the morning, depends on what I have going on that day. Sometimes I work out, and most of the time actually I work out in the early afternoon in this season. And there's times when I work out at night because certain things been happening during the day, but I want to make sure I get my workout in. So there's been a couple nights or a few nights, just been nights where I worked out, but I just wanted to make sure I got it done. Also, like there's this task, like I'm making sure that like I'm committed to getting this book done and whatnot. And during the day, there was other things that I was doing, but I was like, I'm not going to sleep without actually doing more for this book, right? So I got 2 more sections completed in that. Like it was important. I wasn't gonna. I made sure before the night was over, before it struck midnight, that I got the task done. Because again, in this season, I'm more task focused, right? So that's how it's working for me in this season. But y'all, I want you again, we got to start somewhere now, right? We got to start. I always talk about finding your rhythm, right? And I also talk about seasonal boundaries. In this season, some of your boundaries might look like having that calendar with every activity laid out and whatever. And, or it might not be, right? But again, regardless of where you will end up or how you will operate in this season, it's important for you to start by taking inventory, right? So take that inventory of your time, because we got to know we want to place these boundaries, right? Like I'm saying, if I'm supposed to be recording a podcast episode and or scheduling a podcast episode, or I'm supposed to be, or I decide I need to be on a call or something, I shouldn't be watching TV and all these different things. Like I can watch the TV and do all these things that I desire to do probably instead of the actual work sometimes. Like I can do that, but make sure I'm putting these boundaries in place on where I'm gonna do this for that. And like, so I'm gonna give y'all an example. Like what I've started doing in helping and assist with putting these boundaries in place. I've started like, if let's say for example, why is the thing that I really desire to do, right? So I start setting boundaries like I'll do Y, but I must first do X, right? X might be something that's required of me, something I'm not really that into doing, It's just something it's just important for me to do, and I will do it, but it's like not the most desirable in the season, right? Like, okay, I want to get things done. There's tasks and things I want to get done, but like before I do that, I'll give y'all concrete examples because I don't want people to get mixed up. We're not in the algebra class, and I don't want you to X, Y, Z, all these different things. But for example, like there's this game I talked about. I've been playing games, right? Check that episode out. There's this game that I really do enjoy playing. It does something mentally, like it just is. I like this game for so many different reasons, right? So I tend to play this game, and this season that's what I'm doing. And but because I like and enjoy to play the game, and I can just be like there and like having a great time, like learning life lessons, right, in this game. And but instead of me jumping right into the game, I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna get this thing recorded first, right? I'm gonna do this instead, right? I'm gonna work out before I get on the game. I'm gonna do whatever it is that I decide to do, like that is like kind of for that day is like, I want to do this, but I really want to play this game. I just get that thing out the way, right? And so it becomes an incentive for me to actually play my game, right? So, like, yeah, I pray this is just getting to you, so getting is helpful for you all. But it's like making sure that you do. Okay, I say it this way because I want to slow myself down. I feel, yeah. Okay, so what I've done, I told y'all before, many episodes. What I do is gamify things in life, especially those things that I'm just like not that keen on doing, right? So this for me is a way that I've gamified getting certain tasks done, right? Because the incentives become, oh, I want to play my game, but in order to play the game, XYZ must be done first, right? But I really want to do it. So I'm going to get it done, y'all. And I want to mention this because um, uh, being super task focused, I do not believe I don't believe in working every waking hour. Like, I don't believe in that. Like, no. That is so far from the life that I desire. And then different seasons are different, right? But definitely just overall, I'm not about that life. Like, I need to be doing something that somebody else think I need to be doing in every single hour instead. Like, no, sometimes I just want to chill, which I feel and I find super relaxing, super helpful to get my thoughts together, to actually help me move faster when I actually do certain tasks. Like, it's so important that I've built in time to really just chill, right? To just super chill. Like, and I don't necessarily jump from one task to the next, especially if it's some tasks that I'm not really feeling, but I know it's important. I'm not about to just jump from a task that like, oh, okay, I'm gonna do this because I must get it done to something else, or I'm gonna do this. No, y'all. You know how fast it would be for me to really like lose that momentum if I just did all the things in my day that I don't really desire to do like that, or do all the things that I believe or feel is kind of hard for me to do. Y'all, I know for sure I wouldn't get anything done. I wouldn't get anything done because, like, man, that motivation will be gone. I'll be burnt out, right? And it's about, and here, right, boundaries and more. It's about putting these boundaries in place to avoid that burnout, right? So what I'm doing is I'm gonna do something that I know is required, is good, and then I'm gonna do something that it just requires me to just chill, relax, get do some type of activity. I might just do like I'm gonna record this episode right after this. I'm gonna relax, do something that I find um super enjoy that I enjoy, and also, right, then I'm gonna get back to doing some other work stuff. But it's just like it's important. Basically making sure that you're breaking things up. And I want to this saying that really helped me to remember to say this to you all, that some people find effective that working in time blocks, right? Again, that was a version of kind of what I did in before, but I had a super like it's kind of like a set schedule for it. But what those time blocks look like is for you to actually, like, say for example, oh, I'm going to go hard for 30 minutes on this particular activity, then I'm going to take a break for 30 minutes to an hour or whatever and get back into this activity or even another activity for 30 minutes. Just go in uninterrupted and get that thing done. Right. So there's been seasons where that has worked for me too. I know some people that I've assisted and coached, like it's been working for them as well, because it's not necessarily about, and it gives them that extra oomph, that little momentum, right? Because it's not necessarily about doing the task to get to completion, but for me, again, it's a form of gamifying things like, oh, let's see what I can get done in 30 minutes. All right, let's go. Right. And then moving on from there. Right. All right, y'all. So yeah, that's that's what I have for you today. I just wanted to talk a little bit about these time boundaries, especially with us being early on in the new year right now. It's important for me that you be super intentional, be more intentional about where you're utilizing your time and how you're utilizing your time, on and with whom you're utilizing your time. Right? There's certain things in my life I just don't have the time for, right? Not because like I don't have time. We all have 24 hours. I choose not to have the time for things. Like there's certain conversations, certain environments, all the things. I don't, nope. No time for that. No time for that. I'd rather, instead of me out, like I don't do the club stuff and all that. I'm not about to go in the club. I'd rather utilize my time watching a TV show that I like, right? Gaining insights and just seeing just even more ways. And yeah, I learn life lessons, and just I see boundaries everywhere, right? So I'm looking at these shows and just looking at these different boundaries aspects to even help you all even more. Like to just see it in somewhat of everyday life. But yeah, y'all. I mean, I pray this episode's been helpful for you all. It's kind of one of those shorter ones, but this is what I wanted to discuss today. This was on my heart. Um, yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that, y'all. So I want you to take the time today to follow us on Instagram at Boundaries and More Podcast. Again, that's on Instagram at Boundaries and More Podcast. And y'all, I'm telling you, for next week, I have such a treat for you all. Oh my goodness, you don't want to miss next week's episode. Um, yeah, I'm excited about it. Like I'm really excited about it. It's different. It's something that's been in the making. And yeah, we'll get this thing done. I'm excited. But yeah, y'all. So today though, right? I really want y'all to take that inventory. And don't forget to do that. That's priority number one today. Take that inventory of what you're doing with your time, how you're utilizing your time, and write it out. Don't just think about it. Like write it out. See it on paper. See it in your notes on your phone. Just see it. You must see it so that you can properly adjust to what's going to actually be beneficial and helpful to you. All right. So, y'all take the time out today to have an amazingly beautiful day. Enjoy the rest of your week and be back here next week for more Boundaries and More with Jess Abraham. Talk to y'all then.